Good morning, Weenie Watchers. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to cut you off. You were saying good morning.
That's fine.
We're having a morning this morning like you'd not believe. So, we weren't going to have our Weenie Watchers this morning. I was going to postpone it. Charlotte's up to something. But Papa said no, we needed to move forward and we needed to have our live today. So I scheduled it last night. Hopefully you guys will get notifications that we are live, although I don't see anybody in our live right now. But we're just going to go on and maybe you guys will catch the replay. We're going to act like we know what we're doing. And this is week 21. After this week, we've only got 5 more weeks to put together our budget for our travels. And I think we've already mentioned it before, but I think one thing that we're going to do is after we're done with this round of travel, because the way things are going right now, I don't know after this if we'll be able to even afford to travel anywhere with gas and all that other stuff. So I don't know what we'll be doing. But I think for our next pinata stuffing, I think we're going to possibly be putting a lot of money towards Cluckingham Palace and really working on the chicken run. Good morning, Glenda. Listening while you're pulling weeds in the garden. We're going to, I think, focusing our next portion of our budgeting towards, like I said, Cluckingham Palace. We want to add in some extra runs. We need to have their little inner sanctuary adorned and secured, and that, as some of you may or may not know, we said goodbye to our farm dog, Honey, on Thursday night, which unfortunately was Papa Jim's birthday. And I had said to Papa Jim, I said, you know, things are going to be different without her running the perimeter of the farm, because she was really good at chasing things and scaring things and doing things. And I let the chickens out yesterday, and I didn't do much of anything. I wasn't feeling up to it. I'm in this mourning process. And but it was a nice day, and I let the chickens out. Didn't hear anything, didn't have any issues yesterday at all. Put everybody to bed last night, did not do a chicken count, did not do a head count. And let the chickens out this morning for everybody's feeding, and it's like, I don't feel like I've got enough birds out here. And I started with the roosters. I had the 2 roosters. The 3 ducks are in their own pen. I had the 3 ducks. Counted the turkeys, had 5 turkeys, 1 pig. And then I started looking at the guineas. I've got 6 guineas, but I only had 5. So missing a guinea. So we were thinking, well, maybe she was up in a tree somewhere. She'll come running in now that she knows it's time to eat. And then I started looking at my barred rocks and started looking at my well summers. It's like, we're missing birds. I had just yesterday, I was looking at one of our original hens, Black Betty. We only had 1 Black Betty left.
The original bunch.
Of our original bunch that we, good morning, Tiny Tim. Our original bunch from 8 years ago, we started with Buff Orpingtons and Black Sex Links, and we had 1 Black Betty left. She's gone. Don't know where she is. So I told Jim, I said, Black Betty's missing. Can't find her. And I started doing a head count, and my brain is just swimming. I think we're missing about 5 birds. And Papa Jim saw the fox this morning, and it's like 1 day without Honey, and we're already experiencing losses. Now, whether I attribute it to that or not, it's hard to say.
Yeah, Honey really wasn't running the perimeter for last week.
But anyway, she was barking, and her presence was here. And true. Now she's gone 1 day, and we're down 6 birds at least. So Papa Jim has seen the fox this morning. So we made them that great run last week. But the last couple days, because I've been out there working in the garden and such, I've been letting them out in the orchard. And
that's not, they're not protected in
the orchard. They're not protected in the orchard. Even though there's a fence, the fox can get through and over. Yeah. So I'm not having a good morning, but we're still here. I'm not going to make it all gloom and doom. Honey is loved. She'll always be missed and loved, but we're going to move past that in her honor.
And she was, I mean, she led a very good life.
She did lead a good life here. She really did. But saying goodbye is hard.
It is hard.
And we learned some things along the way with that process, some things that we won't do again, but we won't discuss that now. But I think when we're done here today, it is, I'm not going to work Papa Jim too hard this week. If the major was in here, he'd be giving me grief. But
there's not much we can do this week. Anyway.
There's not much we can do this week, but plan. So I do want to pick Papa Jim's brain and plan for some run upgrades. I have a really bad habit, and it's unfortunate for Papa Jim, but I will set something up and then I'll change my mind. Or I'll think of something that I think will work better after we've already put something in place. And it's a lot of extra work for him, and I feel guilty. And so I wasn't going to add anything more to what we're doing out there. I was just going to be happy with what we have. But now that we've had this loss, we need to make changes yet again. So, like I said, I think after our budgeting for travel, I think we're going to change things up and work on Cluckingham Palace and the courtyard.
Some of it's going to be immediate. We're going to have to do, I think. So next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and I have Monday off from work, so I have a 3-day weekend. And so I think that we're going to start the beginnings of Cluckingham Palace.
And the courtyard. We should call it our Chicken Versailles because it's going to have a center courtyard and everything in it.
But it's going to have I want to put the perimeter
fence
back up.
Yeah, the perimeter fence needs to be back up. And it's so sad because I love seeing them out in the orchard. And, that's one of the primary focuses of the guineas is for them to eat all the ticks. I've had 2 ticks on me so far.
I've had 2 or 3.
Jim's had 2 or 3 ticks. And that's the purpose of the guineas is to get out around the edge here and get all these ticks. And if they're in a confined run, they're not doing their job. But I can't keep going out and finding piles of feathers, which is what I found this morning. I found our missing guinea. I just found a pile of feathers.
I'm surprised that with their loudness and stuff, that a predator. So
nobody alerted us. They didn't tell us anything. It must have been a sneak attack. So Papa Jim, for our anniversary, also got us an incubator. And I have been putting off putting any eggs in the incubator until we have a proper brooder set up. But with losses, I'm thinking I might need to stick something in the incubator while we have a chance. I mean, what if I lose my last male guinea or I lose my last female guinea? I'm down to 5. We had 9, down to 5. So I need to incubate some eggs while we have the chance. And the girls have just started laying eggs for me every day, which was so sweet to find the little guinea eggs. I actually took a video the other day of one of the guineas in the nesting boxes because they normally don't lay in nesting boxes. Good morning, Bold Lion. We're all doing as well as we can this morning on a beautiful Saturday morning. So we're going to be making some changes. And so I think I'm going to ask Papa Jim to help brainstorm with me today. I want to really have his input on this so that I can make sure I don't ask him to do something out of sequence so we don't have to go back and change something and frustrate the whole process. So I think we're going to look at updating the actual coop with some T111 siding and just reestablishing. The coop used to be the run, and we had goats, and the goats busted out some of the cross beams. So those have to be fixed.
Goats. Funny animals, goats.
Goats are destructive little stinkers.
So I spent a lot of money on horse pins down in the barn before it blew down.
$1,200 on horse panels.
The tubed panels. And for some reason, the goats, instead of squaring off with each other head to head, they decided that they need something in between them that they can headbutt each other. And so they headbutted those pins until they destroyed them. And then
stinkers.
They jumped out and got out of their fenced area and got into where the chicken run was and decided they were going to do the same thing with my chicken run.
Yeah, they just destroyed.
So they
all
destroyed
kinds
a
of fun
corner of
stuff.
it. It was a corner of it. So
And why did we have $1,200 in panels? Because I went and picked up a blind horse a few years ago. So, and Papa Jim stepped up. He always steps up. He does wonderful things, not only for me, but for the animals here on this farm.
So anyway,
so now it's Clucking Hen Palace.
Yeah, so we're going to concentrate on the beginning stages of that. We got to do something so our yard birds have a little bit more protection and have some room to roam around.
Room to roam, better protection, and something that's a little more aesthetically pleasing than what we put into place was it only last weekend? Has it only been a week? See, it's already been a week and we're already changing things up because the concept is good. Our execution was okay. We did end up having one panel that just, because it was a last minute thought by me, Papa Jim had to struggle with it. But our son came over and he's like, Mom, it looks like Club Fed in here. It looks like a prison yard because we used what we had, which was a bunch of 10-foot by 6-foot chain link panels. And so I think it looks okay from one angle, but I just looked out the upstairs window and looked down. It looks like a prison yard out there. So I'm really wanting something that's a little more aesthetically pleasing. So it doesn't look like we're running Club Fed in the backyard with the animals. So we're going to be doing pressure treated wood and hardware cloth, and we're just going to start building panels and then adding and extending to our run. And the run is going to actually be the outer perimeter of an inner courtyard. When it's all done. And everybody will have access to their individual runs. And then on certain times, we can open an interior door and they can run the inner courtyard and then go back in. We don't have to worry about external predators.
And then we'll decide if we want to repurpose the outer perimeter that's going to be chain link for something else, or I don't know if you want to leave it up.
We'll figure out something. It'd be nice to have a nice little.
But I could repurpose it for something.
We'll repurpose it, and I'd also like to have a dog run for days that we want to let the little dogs out and not have to worry about them wandering too close to the yard. We have a prison yard for our chickens. Got to do what you got to do. Mine is small. Yeah. It's a prison yard, but I think we can do something that's a little more aesthetically pleasing. Papa Jim actually went online this morning to see about getting more panels so we can secure a little bit more. And the panels have really gone up. Chain link panels have gone up quite a bit. So we're going to build our own hardware cloth panels now.
Big box store got them, I don't know, a couple years ago. A year ago, a couple years ago.
Yeah, they were under $100.
Yeah, they were only like $80, and now that they're $140 a panel.
Yeah. So we're going to do pressure treated wood, hardware cloth. Yeah. And we're just going to build panels, and then we'll extend it, and it's going to go all the way around some of the place that they like to hang out.
There'll be 6-foot by 6-foot panels, and then I'll build panels with doors in them, and that way it'll be modular. I'm going to be doing modular.
We're going to do modular chicken runs. And we're going to have individual spots too. Like for instance, the main chicken coop has a big door where everybody comes out in the morning, but I'm also going to put in a chicken door on one side. Papa Jim's going to put in a chicken door on one side so they can go to their own run that will have their nesting boxes where the turkeys won't go. The pig won't go. They'll just have their own little egg laying production area.
There'll be a door coming out of that run into the main courtyard. And then the ducks eventually they'll have their pen inside the, what do you want to call it?
They'll have their own little pen inside of a run with their little pool.
That will open up.
They'll have their own things.
And that'll open up to a courtyard. And so they'll have their prison yard time. So they'll be let out and be able to go into a courtyard. And then when the chickens are up, then the ducks, and that way there's no
Yeah. And Grace says that they built everything. When we first started, Papa Jim built everything. We had the chicken coop, and then we had a really nice chicken run that had the hardware cloth, and we didn't have any issue with predators. And then when I took over the garage to turn into my summer kitchen, the run became the coop. And, we went a long time where we didn't even lock the chickens up at nighttime.
No.
We didn't even lock anything up. They just went in and out and just come and go as they please. And we never had any problems, ever. And then even though at first I was very anal retentive about it and locked everybody up, and then we just started letting them out. We had no problems for years. And then all of a sudden we had a raccoon attacking every night and taking one hen every night. So we beefed up security. And we had some fence panels from when we had a dog run. And so we just started using the fence panels. And then when we wanted to extend a little bigger area, we bought some more fence panels. But we do need to build it again with the hardware cloth, with the pressure treated wood, and we're going to have this nice little courtyard set up for them. And we're going to. I was talking to Papa Jim about. We took down some fencing that has hardware cloth attached to it. We'll take that off. We'll put that on the bottom so that nothing can dig under.
Yeah.
And we're on Fox Patrol, so he's watching for that fox.
Yeah. I mean,
we won't say anything more than that. Then we're just watching for the fox.
And our son came over and was in the back of the property and said he thinks he saw some fox dens, but I know I've seen there's a farm about half 3/4 miles up the road, and it's not there anymore. They just use it as their equipment storage, and I've seen foxes at their place. And so, not being anybody living there, I'm sure it's probably one of their
fox
dens.
haven.
Yeah.
So we have coyotes. I thought I heard coyotes last night before I went to bed.
It's probably the Hugh Hefner Playboy Mansion.
It probably is. They probably got a grotto over at that farm and everything. How do we know about the grotto? Don't know. I don't know what
I read.
He reads the articles. Yeah. So yeah. So we might start incubating, even though it might be a little ahead of schedule, which might cut into what we do for our trip. I don't know. Can I go on a trip if I have 4-week-old babies running around? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing.
Can we take them with us?
We could try to take them with us. I'm so confused on things. We've had such a whirlwind of emotion the past 2 weeks. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. Yeah. But let's do what we're all here for. Yeah, we're all here for budgeting.
And, let me just put one thing out there, that as life, things have to go on. And like I said, our honey dog, she was my supervising foreman on our renovations around here. Mm-hmm. And she lived a good long life, and we just have to
the vet said she was 13 to 15 years old. Yeah. So she outlasted her life expectancy.
Right. And she had the run of this farm. Her and her other criminal partner years ago, who she was an older dog. They ran. I mean, they were spotted 5 miles away from here at one time, and I thought for sure they're going to be gone for good. And all of a sudden that night they come running back up,
and then they couldn't walk for 2 days after. They would run and run and run until they couldn't walk anymore. But
anyway, so we're gonna move on, and we'll there'll be many more adventures.
With great love comes great pain when you do lose them. So we've had a couple of rough days, but we're going to be okay. And we appreciate everybody's love and support that they've shown to us as we're going through this. And I know some people say it's just a dog. Well, for us, it's more than just a dog. I mean, they're like our kids.
Right. Our kids say that they get treated better than they did when they were kids. So
it's true.
But
what can I say? Let's spin the wheel. Let's do our destination. No, let's do our small number first. Our small number.
Well, of course, when we didn't make it to the bank.
And didn't make it to the bank.
So we may be putting IOUs this week.
It's true. I almost thought about doing some shopping therapy yesterday. I was going to get up, go into town, and hit the garage sales and the thrift store and hit the bank for today. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I just sat like a lump on the couch all day yesterday.
All right, so let's do the small wheel. So
I have to watch a commercial before I can even get in there. Give myself grace. Good morning, our treasured home. Okay, we're going to spin for 1 through 50. We're still praying for a double every time, but this time it might end up being an IOU.
Hit a double.
If it hits a double, it's going to have to be an IOU.
I might have to get a pin to prick to give
some blood. Here we go. You guys get to see it first. We're not watching. You guys see it? We didn't look. Now we have to wait for a commercial before we can see what we're doing. Tiny Tim says, years ago, I built Fort Knox chicken pen. Concrete blocks buried and filled with cement around the edge, 4x4 posts, 8 foot apart, and a light truss roof with wire over it. That's kind of like what we're talking.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the he's gonna do modular panels that we'll be building, but it will be the hardware cloth and the pressure treated wood. Woo, $17. We can do $17 today. Man. That might be that we're eating Slim Jims at the truck stop, but yeah. We can do $17. Put it right here, Papa Jim. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. He's making me work for it today. 17. I saw some writing on one of these. Did we get another Where's George? Let me see.
Somebody put $1 million.
Somebody turned their $1 bill into $1 million. Look at that. Woo, we're rich. We're fancy today.
But we're going on a nice trip now.
in our minds. We won't be going anywhere with that. Okay, $17 into the cupcake. Woohoo! Boop, there it goes. You're at 423 and holding, says our treasured home. Oh my goodness. So let's see what else is going on the farm today. Papa Jim has a big anniversary coming up at work, and they're going to have a luncheon. Are you going to go to that luncheon?
I don't know.
I think he should, and you know why? Because it's at the Surf Ballroom where Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and the Big Bopper last played before their fateful flight. So that's where this luncheon's going to be. I think he should go, but I don't know if he's going to go or not.
It cuts into my work time.
The man's a working fool. But he's got such great work ethic, though. You cannot fault him for that. So
I got it from building stuff for her.
I'm working on some of my crafts. I'm designing some new patterns to be released soon. For those of you who do love chickens, I have something really fun coming out. You're going to love it. I've got a couple of things I'm working on, and I've got to use up some of this yarn stash. So that's what I've been doing to kind of console myself as we went through this week, is I put a lot of time into my crafting just because it was a nice distraction. So yeah. That's what I've been doing. The house is a disaster. It looks like a bomb went off in this house, but I just haven't been able to bring myself to clean. But fear not. Because sometimes I do get the cleaning bug, and then I just rip through and I clean everything.
I use my work is once I start working, I get so focused that I actually leave my real world reality. And so that's kind of a break for me. Some people think, well, how can you work being heavy-minded? And for me, it's actually I can actually get into my work and not think of anything outside, and so that's kind of a mind relief for me. So
I think that's how I am with my crafts. I'm counting stitches, I'm doing things, and I don't have to think about the heaviness around me. That's what I do. So
anyway. So other than that, I'm trying to think of if there's anything. My boys are trying to pull me into airsoft games.
Airsoft competitions.
So we'll see how that works.
Our son and his wife went to their first airsoft competition, and they came back. I have to make sure I say it so it doesn't get us in trouble. Came back with some
souvenirs.
Some souvenirs from that competition.
Yeah,
and we're not talking trophies.
Some circular souvenirs on their back of their back.
On the back of their back. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guess these things see what was coming.
I guess these things they pop a little bit harder than than you would think for being a plastic.
They had a good time though,
they had
but
a
I
good,
don't know if he wants to be
yeah.
involved in
Oh,
that. I don't want him coming home with all kinds of
that stuff doesn't bother
souvenirs.
me. My thing is the moving around with my ankles and stuff, but
I don't think he's recovered from Pella yet when we went to Pella.
I think plus next weekend is another match that they want to go to, another game, and I have priority, so I'm not gonna be able to make it. Which is gonna my youngest son is gonna be banging up on me for it because he wanted me to go to this next one, but they want me to sit in a building and be eyes and stuff like that. So we'll see.
He was going to be recon, but now he's going to be on chicken duty.
I got priority. So anyway, so that's that. They want me to do that.
Because not only do we love our birds, and not only do they provide us with eggs, but he doesn't want to see me sulking for weeks on end every time I lose a chicken because.
Well, I don't want it either. I mean I tell the guys at work and stuff like that, and my coworkers that those are my girls, and they produce eggs and stuff like that. And when
the eggs are selling.
And when they're eggs, when they start getting down in production, I have to go in there and I give them a pep talk. So I'm their pimp. Is that bad?
Yeah, it is. Can't say that.
I can't say primp.
Oh, he primps them.
I primp them.
We'll put a little mirror in there so they can primp.
I'm the guy
Good
who does
save.
I'm the guy who kind of fluffs their, gets everything going good.
You're a fluffer. Oh boy, we're just going to be in trouble with this entire broadcast. Oh my goodness. Let's figure out where we're going on our trip. He's the man in charge. That's right.
I'm the
and
rooster.
Our treasured home, she crochets as well and does cross stitch. And thank you, Bold Lion, for the compliment.
Actually,
40 years plus.
Actually, I'm an advisor to the roosters. I tell the roosters what to do. I say, hey, brother, you are...
Well, the roosters weren't doing their job because they didn't protect their girls yesterday.
I don't understand what the deal is because I've seen some videos of roosters. They really go to battle until the very end. And
not yesterday.
So, anyway.
All right, here's our destination. Let's spin, see where we're going to go. Last week, we got Chicago by train, which I don't know. Chicago's starting to look a little scary to me. We might just get on the train and stay on the train and get off somewhere else. We don't know yet.
What's been going on the farm here, Chicago might not be too bad.
That's true. Chicago might start feeling like our norm. Okay, we're going to spin it. We're not going to look at it. You guys get to see it first, and then we'll see where we're going to go. I gotta have to sit through a commercial first.
Where's my dog? There she is. She's over.
So what we do for those of you who are new, we spin for the destination to see where we're going to go at the end of our 26 weeks of budgeting for our trip. We'll add it up and see who gets the most votes based on our spinning adventure wheel here. Let's see.
Look how thin my face is getting.
Stop.
Okay. Look.
Here, look at that.
Where is it?
No! Nashville, Tennessee. That's going to make
it's a conspiracy against me. It's
going to make my best friend very, very happy because she lives down by Nashville. She's hoping that we'll make it down that way.
This is just a game. I actually really want to go there because I know that I'll be spoiled.
You would be spoiled.
I would be spoiled. They would take me to all the sites around there and stuff like that. So I know that she is very good to both of us.
She's a wonderful host when we visit.
She's not just her BFF, but she's
family.
What is she,
She's side chick.
She's my side chick.
That's what it says in his phone.
I changed it, but I used to have it on my phone because I thought it was so funny. Is that when it would ring,
the thing is she heard that term too, and she started calling herself his side chick, and she didn't know what it meant till somebody pointed it out to her, and she was like, and she's very proper, so she just didn't know.
And I don't want to use this in a bad term, but she's a little naive as far as rural world kind of stuff. And so she didn't. At one time, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here. She called, and I answered the phone. What?
You're going to tell that story?
I'm going to tell that story.
My gosh.
And she was in the bathtub. and she was talking to me, and she did not. I don't know, and it was nothing improper at all. It was nothing like that, but it was just if people would hear that, they would think, "Man, why is she talking to him
Why are you talking to my best friend while she's in the tub?
bathtub?"
These two.
So
they tease about it all the time.
it is.
Let's put it in. Let's stuff my muffin there, Papa Jim. I know it's one of our top choices so far, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that's going to be maybe the front runner.
It's going to be one of the top contenders. It's a bonding moment. Oh, they've had plenty. They've had plenty. Country music and all its glory, tons of fun there. Yes, I think, every time we get a destination that we put into the cupcake, I do a little research, try to figure out what there is to do in the area. And there's a lot of fun things to do down there in the Nashville area. I
think some of the stuff I want to do too is I want to search out some historical stuff too. I want to see some. I'm sure that there was something from either the civil time, or whatever like that. That era,
the late 1800s,
right?
We'll say.
I want to see some.
We do have some historical places planned and some fun things to do, and but I check every time. I check new places. I found some really cool places to stay.
That dinner boat. Paddle wheel boat.
We're going to go on the paddle wheel boat, the General Jackson
paddle boat, and
which goes right by on the Cumberland River, right past the B&B that I found that I stay at. Is there a Dukes of Hazzard museum? See, does that make you feel better about possibly going to Nashville, Tennessee?
It does, because if anybody knows me, I was a huge Dukes of Hazzard.
He was
huge. I used to.
That's true.
I used to have a cassette player my grandpa bought me, and before the days of VCRs and all that stuff, I used to record the TV episode on this recorder, and then I would play it back.
You used to have tapes of Dukes of Hazzard.
I did. I had cassette tapes. I listened to Dukes of Hazzard. Isn't that funny?
It's funny now, but at the time it was serious. Like, you don't touch those tapes. Yeah. Don't mess with those tapes.
Don't mess when Daisy Duke is talking. No way! Don't do that.
You want to talk about
what?
Daisy Duke, airhead.
Oh, I thought you meant that she got me all warm.
Maybe she did.
But you got to think of back in that time, being however I was when it started, 13, 14 years old. I mean, that was a big deal, man. Holy moly. Farrah Fawcett and Catherine Bach and Lonnie Anderson, and I mean that was
his deal. Look it up, but I think it's near Opryland, but I could be wrong. You have the DVD set of the Dukes, Tim. Bold Lion, you're being pretty bold. But I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
After this week?
After this week, yeah. I won't have you on the eyeliner. That's the trick.
Yeah.
So,
no, I'm not even going to say it. We'll get kicked off.
Yeah, don't get me kicked off.
I was going to say the Amber.
Stop it. Grace and Fire watched it but she was a little girl. We were teenagers when we used to watch it.
Well, I was a little boy. Wasn't I?
Okay.
I mean, what year did that come out?
I don't remember, but it was on while we were dating.
Late 70s, right? Yeah. Early 80s?
Early 80s.
So, I mean, I was a little boy. I was like 14. I'm still a little boy.
Behave yourself. All right, let's see our spinning wheel for our savings for 51 to 100. And how much do we have in our little stash of cash? Do you think we're going to have enough? Turn the volume
emergency
up.
One chips. Yeah.
Yes, emergency. Yes.
Yeah.
What was it? Squad 51.
Squad 51.
One Adam 12.
One Adam 12.
Emergency with Johnny Mantooth.
And who else was that? It was the guy who played in
the guy
Roadhouse.
Who played in Roadhouse, but I can't remember his name. But I remember Johnny Mantooth's name.
And then chips. We saw Larry Wilcox.
Yeah,
we saw him at the rodeo.
At a rodeo, we saw Larry Wilcox, and I used to think that my dad looked like Eric Estrada.
Don't you wish?
No, I thought he did. He had the teeth. Back in the day, my dad had the teeth, and he was dark. But
he had the teeth.
Okay, So I got to tell the story before we spin. When I first started dating Papa Jim, I told him, I said, now my dad's scary. Because to me, my dad was scary because he was the authority figure in the home. And, I'd get the belt if I didn't behave myself and everything. And so I said, now my dad's scary and he looks like Ponch from Chips. So the first time that I take Papa Jim to meet my family, he set the stage. He comes and picks me up after school. I'm in junior high, and we walk to the little park that's a couple blocks away.
I was in second year of college.
Stop it. He was in high school. You could really get us in trouble. So we walk to the park, and here's my mother on a blanket in the park. You should have known. She had like 50 skeins of yarn that she was rolling into balls while she's sitting in the middle of a park.
On a blanket.
How many skeins of yarn are you surrounded by right now? A lot more than 50. A lot more than 50.
Well, that was only 50 that she had with her.
Yeah, that's just the 50 she had just picked up at the thrift store that day.
No. She had cubbies and closets and stuff full of yarn.
She did.
She had a knitting machine.
She had a whole knitting machine. She loved it.
Yeah,
So she's making balls of yarn. My sister's doing something obnoxious and annoying. And there's my dad, this man who I painted out to be really scary. You better behave yourself. Was he wearing tennis shoes or his work shoes? He had like leather work shoes. I'm going to start from the bottom up.
With tube socks with the bands or the rings on them.
Yeah, tube socks like with the yellow and the green bands at the top pulled all the way up to his knees. Yeah. Shorts.
A t-shirt.
A funky hat.
And
Mork and Mindy rainbow suspenders. Which is really how he dressed all the time. It's not like he did it to throw Jim off. But here's Jim, and he looks at my dad. He's like, "That's your scary dad?" He just laughed. He thought it was hysterical. To me, it was scary. And then I met his dad, and then I realized why my dad was not scary at all, because his dad was scary. Oh, my gosh. Team Miami Vice. You have the whole season on DVD of Emergency.
MacGyver,
how fun.
Riptide, Mork and Mindy. What about BJ and the Bear?
BJ McKay and his best friend Bear. She says the museum is called Cooters. Got to plan a trip to Cooters. If we go down to Nashville, we're going to go to Cooters. You have to say it that way too. You guys say Cooters.
Yeah. Actually, if
Enos.
I was on a Dukes of Hazzard set, I would be Cooter.
You would, because you're a mechanic.
I'm a mechanic.
You're the Cooter. It's the Cooter. Oh, I had a Knight Rider car that I pedaled everywhere. How fun.
Oh, that would be fun.
That is fun. Yeah. And Eric Estrada became a real cop. Mork and Mindy, nanu.
So I had a 1974 Chevy Vega, 2-door with a trunk. It wasn't a hatchback, it had the trunk. It was a sedan. And I thought it was a General Lee.
He did. He drove that thing like he thought it was the General Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And all of our, like my teachers and the bus driver, when he would chase the bus as I would be, going up the hill to go home, they were like, that boy's going to kill himself. That boy needs to slow down. He's not going to make it to graduate high school the way he drives. And he would too. If we would get into just to the tiniest little disagreement at the bus stop, he used to get out of school, ride his bike over to my school so he could see me for 3 minutes before I had to get on the bus. And then the bus would take me 50 miles away home, up in the mountains, and then I'd have to come back down every morning. And
then I got my license.
Yeah.
Then I got my car.
He did. And if we got into like the slightest disagreement, he would chase that bus in that car until you get to the edge of where we'd start go up the hill, and there were orange fields, all the orange groves. And he'd like spin out in the dirt and dirt everywhere, and I'd be crying. And and then we'd make up and we'd start all over the next day. Hey, good morning, Melanie. 95 degrees in Pennsylvania, trying to plant my vegetables, but this heat is awful.
In Pennsylvania, huh?
Pennsylvania. Yeah. You know what's awful here, Melody? Let me tell you what's awful here. It's not the heat. We've had some beautiful days, but for some reason, I don't know why, because this is the first time I've experienced it. I'm frustrated. I'm about ready to throw in the towel, Melody. I have cleared out my garden. I have a raised garden between the house and the garage, and then the chicken coops on the other side. I think it's beautiful. If you've seen any of my videos from last year's garden updates, it's a beautiful little spot. All raised gardens with the cattle panel hoops and everything for my trellises. So I've been out there this last week, clearing it all out, amending my soil. I even amended it with my Kelzyme, got everything all done. I've got tomatoes, green beans, peppers, morning glories, chamomile, lavender. I could go on and on and on, right? Went in the first day after planting, it's like, what's happened? Everything's in disarray. Smooth it all out. Then I see a squirrel in there. Every day, 2 or 3 times a day, a squirrel's going in there and burying walnuts in every single bed. And just like, there's just plants askew. He's got an entire 5 acres. I wonder if he feels like he needs to be safer in the garden because of the fox. Maybe that's why he's not out in the orchard planting stuff. Or
maybe because the ground's hard and he figures, man, this is easy,
yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah. He's just like, woohoo, planting another little walnut. So every bed's been disturbed this morning. So between losing 5 chickens, a guinea, and then looking at my garden with all of my plants everywhere, I just came inside and sat down and said, I'm done for the day.
So you need to do like I used to do when years ago I used to golf. And in golfing, the golf course I used to go to, the first tee was over water. And so I would literally take a ball and throw it in the water before I teed off. And that was my sacrificial ball to get in the water. You need to do a planter out somewhere. That's your sacrificial planter.
The whole farm is sacrificial planter.
Yeah, but if you make it a planter that's turned up and ready to go, maybe the squirrel will go to that.
Maybe we need to get the rototiller out today and do a little area over there. But I was so excited, Melanie, because this year I made a teepee for my green beans, and I made them out of the stalks of my sunflowers, and I was telling Glenda about it. All excited. I'm trying to find my jute so I can do the twine so they'll grow up. And I'm telling you, I go out there and my little green beans are just all askew because it's not eating anything. The squirrel's not eating anything.
He's just burying his nuts.
And he's not intentionally digging up the plants. But in his attempt to bury things, he's disrupting my plants. Nuts in there? Have I found what?
Any nuts in there?
Yeah, I'm finding nuts. This girl can find nuts. You look hard enough, you can find nuts. I am nuts.
You're attracted because you're...
So I've got a squirrel issue, Melody. I'm glad I'm not in Shed Wars this year because it would be highly disappointing to everybody on my team. Squirrels don't like Cajun pepper. Sprinkle it around. That's going in there. That's going in the garden next. I'm going to get a big, I'm going to have Papa Jim order me a big thing of the red pepper flakes. And I'm going to add that to my chicken feed as well because I hear that's really beneficial for their gut health. So I'll sprinkle some pepper flakes too. My best friend had a 2-door sedan Chevy Vega. I had to have my knees to my chest to ride in it. It's a tight fit. Oh, that poor Chevy Vega, by the time we got done with it.
The back of it, if I had any friends that would ride with me, they all complained because there was no seating in the back for legroom. So, and my best friend growing up, he was like 6'5" and 300 pounds.
I think Tim's 6'7". Tim, are you 6'7"? I know you're really, really tall.
Yeah, that was my best friend. And then, so most time when we palled around, we went in his car because he would not. And he had a Firebird, and so it had long leg room in it. So, and the seat all the way back.
And we went all over town in that little Vega. And by the time he got done with that Vega, it was held together with baling wire, no bubble gum, but it really truly was held together with baling wire. Yeah. Because he ripped the front end off one day.
Right. But we used to go on the dirt roads around on the outskirts of our town, which there's another story about that, and we would chase each other like Dukes of Hazzard. He would start off and I would chase him, and then we would change roles and chase each other and stuff like that.
You know what's funny is they used to chase each other through apricot fields. Is that what you were going to say about other stories? They used to chase each other through apricot fields in the valley where we lived. And the apricot fields were at one time was where they would process and owned by Kearns for Kearns jams and jellies. And so they would just rip through those apricot fields. back and forth chasing each other all the time. We used to go out there and run around in the apricot fields and stuff. And, you know, we fast forwarded 25 years fast forward. And our house that we had built was actually built where those orchards used to be.
Where we used to run through.
And all of the streets were named after things that were in the orchard. So we lived on Nectar. Yeah. We lived on Nectar Street, right where we used to run and play when we were teens, and they'd chase each other like Dukes of Hazzards. That's where our house was when we lived in California. Hello, Sandy. So Tiny Tim is 6'6", and Melody says she burnt herself out doing shed wars. You know, Melody, that's why I'm not even contemplating. I've got such a little raised garden bed. I don't want to be accountable to any produce and feel like I'm letting anybody down other than myself. So not doing it. And you know what?
Are we doing jalapenos?
That squirrel, I'm going to put some jalapenos in, but that squirrel broke my loofah. I had a loofah growing. Hello, Marla. My brain's not working because I've had a terrible, terrible week. So apologize. I'm going to apologize right now. Marlene. But it broke. I've got some loofah planted and it broke one of my loofahs. I'm hoping it'll still grow because I want loofahs to grow up, which I'm glad they're not growing up and over since we're changing the chicken coop now. We're changing things up. So I'm glad the loofah's not growing yet. So we've already spun for our destination. We got a new location to look into for Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you, Glenda. Yeah. We've spun our first spinny wheel. We got $17, which means Slim Jims at the truck stop. And we're going to spin for our big number now and see where we're at. Here we go. Oh, Papa Jim's cheating. You're cheating.
No, I'm not.
He's cheating.
I was reading the...
He's cheating.
No.
I'm holding this up to the screen, and he's got his phone over here on the table watching the live so he could see how much pops up.
That's not true.
What do we got, friends? Let's see. I think it is true. 92. We still broke 100 this week. That's good. Do we have $92? I don't know that we even have $92 this week. Because Mama didn't make it to the bank. Let's see.
10.
Marlene. 10. 15. It's going to be close. 20. 25. 30. 35. 40. 45, 50.
What are we doing?
50.
No, where we got to get to?
92.
So we're at 50?
55. 60. 65. 70. 75. 80. 85. 90. 91. 92.
Look at all that. I got all those ones.
That's all we got left for the week, friends. All right, let's stuff my muffin, Papa Jim. You let me stuff my own muffin this week? Don't move it.
What? It won't fit.
Woo! Shake it up. Let's see how much we got in there.
How much do you think we got in here now?
I almost got a double. Did I almost get a double, Tim? That would have been.
I wonder how much money you guys think's in here.
You guys, we're on week 21. How much do you think we have in here by now? Drop some numbers in the chat. It's a lot of fives. It's a lot of fives because I didn't make it to the bank, so we're all out of 10s and 20s.
Does anybody know why I put the 5s and not the 1s in?
He likes to hang on to his 1s. We won't say why. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I'm a cheap date, and I think I've been on the farm enough this week. I think I need to be taken to lunch today. How much does it cost for me to have lunch?
A lot.
It doesn't.
A lot. No, wait. It matters where we go.
If we take me to Arby's for lunch today, how much is it going to cost me to eat?
Probably about $4.
Less than that.
Less than that?
Yeah.
If you get onion rings?
They don't have onion rings anymore.
Oh. Then let me think here. 10.
I'm inexpensive. Ooh, Marlene says she thinks we've got about $3,000 in there.
About $2.
Yeah, it cost me about $2. If I get a value drink, a cup of cheddar, and an onion bun toasted, it's $1.79. So Marlene thinks we have $3,000 in there. You're right, Melody. You know that. You know And out here, there's no place to really find that, but whatever.
Well, they got a pretty neat strip club here.
What? Chicken strips?
No. There's a place. It's a barn, and you take old furniture and they strip it,
and then they repurpose it. Oh my goodness!
They actually 100 miles away. They actually do have one, but that doesn't.
Sandy thinks we have $1,020. Melanie thinks we have $500. Marlene said 3,000. So in 5 weeks, we've got 5 more times to put money in because this is week 21. Week 26, and I think I've already made the thumbnail for us to come back. The week after that, we're going to bust open the piñata. We're going to find out where our final destination is that we're going, and we're going to count up all the money right in front of you guys. So you can see how much we have to go on our trip.
If you don't see Papa Jim for a while.
Well, actually, anyways, we didn't put any money in our change jar today.
Oh, we didn't. Man, we're off.
We're really off. We've had a week. Oh. This is a piece of furniture that's been stripped and redone. Just saying. Oh, this is getting heavy. Look at that. If you guys guess at the end of 26 weeks, whoever can guess how much is in our bank, closest without going over, will win one of 3 prizes. Oh, she says that many weeks. Now she's going to say 8,000. Oh, I wish.
That I wish.
Yeah, it's a 26-week challenge for our budget for us to go on a trip. So we get together every week. We spin one wheel that's 1 through 50, and it has doubles on it. And another wheel that has 51 through 100 that has doubles on it.
Hang on.
And then we spin for our destination.
What is this for?
We've come unplugged. Hang on a second, he says.
Computer.
We want to make sure we don't lose our battery there. So there's going to be one of three prizes for whoever can guess the closest without going over. I hope I get to see the piñata busting live. I hope so too, Marlene. That would be fun. So we always tell you what we're putting in here so that we have an accurate count. All you have to do is, if you missed an episode or two, just go back and count the money we put in. So here's a quarter. I think that today we might hit a milestone. Oh yeah, we're going to hit a milestone today. Here's a quarter. Another quarter. And we're checking all of our quarters to see if we can find the one that has bats on the back of it. Anybody finds a quarter with a bat, mail it to me. I'll reimburse you. Here's a quarter. Got some pretty ones, but no bats today. Here's another quarter. Another quarter.
Where are we at?
And another quarter. While he's getting some change together, let me tell you what you can win. You can either win a Country Mama Musings coffee mug that I will order and send to your home right out of my merch store, or you can win one of these banks with the LCD display on top that counts your change for you as you put it in. It's a cute little mason jar. We would order that and have that sent to your home. Or a tchotchke from wherever it is we end up going on our trip. So if we ended up going to Tennessee and we ended up going to Cooters and you ended up winning, guessing the amount, how much we have in our change jar, we could get you a treat from Cooters and have it mailed. It all depends. If we end up at Mount Rushmore, it might be a treat from Mount Rushmore. If we end up in Chicago, who knows what we would send you from Chicago. But those are the 3 gifts you get to choose from if you win. It's whoever's the closest without going over. Yeah, I know, Marlene. Here we go. Here's another 25. And another 25. And another 25. We're getting real close to a milestone, guys. It's getting heavy. And another 25. And another 25. We got a lot of quarters today. Boy,
yeah,
woo!
I had a lot of quarters this week.
Where do we guess for the change? We're going to have you guess during the piñata busting because we're going to still be adding to it every week.
Yeah.
Don't put your guesses here.
Yeah, don't say.
Because I don't want it to be like The Price is Right. I don't want somebody to say, I think you have $212, and then have somebody say, I think you have $212.05. Don't want it to be that way. You've got to watch the videos, and we give you hints, like we're hinting today that we're coming up on
To
a
a
milestone. So we give you hints.
And this is a good milestone too.
Oh, that was a quarter. Here's another quarter. Ooh, a quarter.
Where are we at?
Ooh, we're getting close. It's getting hot in here. Ouch. It's getting so heavy. It hurts my arm to hold it. Look at all that change. Look at that. Now, there are some pennies in here.
Yeah, when we started.
When we started putting pennies in, but then we decided we're just going to put in the good
Silver.
stuff. Here's a quarter. Ooh, here's a dime. Another dime. Drum roll. Drum roll.
I can't see.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Another dime. Brrr, we're getting really, really close to a milestone. Here's a nickel.
Where are we at?
Woo! We're almost to a milestone. Ow. It's so heavy. It's so heavy. Here's a nickel. It's like he's teasing me. He knows I want to get over the milestone mark. Do we go over the milestone mark this week? No, I think we'll go over the milestone next week. What do you think?
Ooh.
We're really close to a milestone.
Do you guys want us to go over?
So you'd have to come back next week to see if we make it over the milestone. Oh, no Price is Right. Woohoo! If you go to Mount Rushmore, I would love to come meet up with you. Oh, yes, Sandy, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. That many weeks. Oh, yeah. So Melanie said she was hoping we had $8,000 in there. You know, hairball. If we ended up with a destination that we don't really feel safe going, I'm kind of wink, wink hoping. I think it would be fun if we don't end up taking a trip that might not be safe for us at the moment. I think it might be kind of fun to maybe see if we have enough to plan our Alaskan cruise. And fly into Seattle and then do an Alaskan cruise. No, it's on our bucket list.
Yeah, but it's not on our thing.
It's not on our itinerary. No. It's not on our 5. Do you guys know what our choices are for this time? Let me tell you what they are. Our choices are, I'm going to start and then we'll volley back and forth. Nashville, Tennessee.
Mount Rushmore.
Branson, Missouri. He only thinks about the one he really wants to go to, which is Mount Rushmore.
Chicago by train.
Chicago by train, yes. And Mackinac Island, Michigan. Those are our 5 choices because they're not too far away from where we live, where Alaska is quite a distance. So, but we've got quite a few selections in there for Chicago by train. Oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Is it? No? Oh, you're a tease. You're a tease.
Am I?
I don't know.
Well, no, I was going to see if anybody said yes or no. If I was going to.
Oh, he asked you. Do you want him to go up over the milestone or wait until next week? That's what he's asking. I'm going to take this bank and show you guys. Look at the money. Oh gosh, that's heavy. Look at all the money. We are super duper close to a milestone. Of course, we've had several milestones, so you don't know which one it is. We've had several that we mentioned throughout the weeks. It's like, oh, we're going to hit a milestone. And they are milestones, but which one is it? Which one is it? Oh, you got a couple of requests for more money, more money, more money.
More money. All right, here we go.
What's going in?
A dime.
A dime.
Here we go.
Anticipation. Woohoo! If I had a little streamer to go off, I'd say, woo! We hit a milestone. Our wiener dog's happy about it.
Does everybody know about Colonel Mustard?
This is Colonel Mustard, and he goes with us on our adventures, and we do Team Weenie Watchers. So our last, can you take this? It's very heavy. Not the wiener, the money. we have Team Weenie Watchers, and you can secure an adventure pass to go on one of our adventures with us with Colonel Mustard, and it's $5, and you get a postcard from where our location is that we go on our trip. And we're not talking just the big trip, but you can get an adventure pass for the big trip. But then we also shout out your channel in whatever video we put up. So the last trip that we took Colonel Mustard on, we took Colonel Mustard to Pella, Iowa for the Tulip Festival. And so Tiny Tim Posey, he's got a postcard coming, as does Jim's Kitchen from Team Weenie Watchers. Yeah. So those are going out in the mail. And then, I need to edit the video. We've got a lot of video editing to do, but I just haven't had the opportunity to edit that video yet. But we got some great footage out at the Tulip Festival. We have coming up, we're going to be taking a trip to the Surf Ballroom, to tour the Surf Ballroom, and then go out to the memorial for Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper. We are going to be going on a murder mystery where we're taking Colonel Mustard and our investigator, which is our alligator, our stuffed alligator. Jim's going to grab the investigator. Hello, Inca. Hello, friend. Branson, Missouri is a fun place to visit. I lived in Springfield, Missouri for a few years and visited there once, and that's on our list. So we'll see. So we've got Colonel Mustard and our investigator, and we're going on a murder mystery. We're going to go as barbecue chefs, and we like to grill our suspects low and slow. We're team, what are we? Team Recipe for Murder. That's what it is. I couldn't think for a second. So our team is Team Recipe for Murder. We have our Colonel Mustard canine unit that we will be taking with us, and we have our investigator to help us solve the crime. If you want an adventure pass to the murder mystery, all you have to do is let us know. It's $5. Like I said, you get a postcard and you get a shout out in the video. Lots and lots of fun. So I've had a few of you take us up on it, and I've sent out a few postcards already, and we'll be doing more. It is going to be fun. It is a lot of fun, the things that we're coming up with to do. So that's our money stuffing in my muffin. Papa Jim and Papa Jim didn't stuff my muffin today. He had me stuff my own muffin. I stuffed my muffin twice before I finished my cup of coffee. 3 times if you count the destination where we're going. And this week's destination was Nashville, Tennessee. So thank you to Glenda for giving us the idea about cooters.
Yeah, I'm going to
research. Oh my gosh, listen to all the innuendo, stuff in my muffin and cooters and all kinds of stuff.
Matter of fact, I'm thinking about that's going to be my nickname at work.
Cooter. Are you going to change your name to Cooter, your nickname?
Yeah.
What have your nicknames been at work over the years? Prima Donna was one. By mean people. They were mean.
I don't know.
Jimbo,
JT.
I like Cooter.
Yeah, I don't know if the other one's proper.
The other ones you can't say.
Here, let me whisper to you and see if I can say it.
Yeah, I think we're going to pass on that one.
I think so.
I mean, really, there's nothing wrong with
They
that.
actually announced me over the intercom years ago with that name to come to the service drive, and the owner came out and had
if you know anything about
Little Rascals,
and if you know anything about female guinea hens and what they say, you'll know what that word was. And
so they paged it for me to come to the service drive, and that's what they used to call me. And the owner heard it over the intercom loudspeaker, and
whoo! I just think we're gonna start calling you Cooter.
I'm gonna be Cooter.
Are we gonna change your name from Papa Jim to Cooter? Country Mama and Cooter. That'd be funny.
Good Lord.
That would be funny. Oh my gosh.
I could go for that.
You want me to change up to Cooter?
I don't know. What is it?
What do you guys say? Do you think for next week for our pinata stuffing, should I put the name down here at the bottom, right here?
Country Mama and Cooter.
Should it say Country Mama and Cooter or Country Mama and Papa Jim? That's spanky. Marlene says, no matter where you guys go, I know you will end up having a great time. We will. We're putting.
I mean, when I went to prison, I had a good time.
People go start talking. They already do. It's okay. Oh my gosh. Friends.
Um,
We just passed the one. Everybody says cooter.
you think cooter?
Our treasured home
Am I a
thinks
cooter?
cooter. And
Am I a
Marlene's
cooter?
laughing at cooter.
Am I a
Daisy
cooter?
and cooter.
Daisy. And
I'm
cooter.
not a Daisy. You don't want to see this in some Daisy Dukes, let me assure you. He'll want to go to prison just to get away from
cooter in Daisy Dukes?
it. Well, not if they're going to call me Daisy. But next week, should we have him show up? We'll call him Cooter and have him wear some Daisy Dukes. I don't know that you would see the Daisy Dukes, but we could have him dress in some Daisy Dukes. I'll take a pair of his pants, cut him down. I'll rough him up a little bit, not him, the pants.
If I do that, though, I have to have some suspenders.
You have to have some more committee suspenders.
It's like I hike them
Way up. Maybe I can crochet you some shorts. You guys ever seen that picture of those crocheted shorts? I don't have that yarn, but I could have something similar. I could crochet him some really cool looking shorts out of this with those little brown strips in them. It's the most awful picture I've ever seen on the
There's
internet.
a couple of videos on TV of a guy with a big beard and stuff, and he's got the shirt, the Daisy Dukes.
Oh yeah, there's the guy that does the calendars and stuff. He's a chicken daddy, and he wears the prairie dresses that Glenda and I make fun of all the time from Target, and he poses with his chickens. I think we need to do that. I think when we get our chicken coop, our Cluckingham Palace completely done, Papa Jim needs to do a photo shoot with some of our girls. And he needs to have a photo shoot in some Goodwill attire. I think I need to find him some Goodwill attire.
How about some Daisy Dukes with cowboy boots on and a half top?
Would you do that?
A half top.
And one in a prairie dress, like Little House on the Prairie with a chicken. And we can have him pose all seductive.
I'm gonna let a little TMI out. So a couple years ago, I was really getting into the 20s type things and the simplicity of how life was and stuff. And I saw that the men used to sleep in nightgowns.
Oh, yes.
And so I went and bought myself a man's nightgown.
He's got himself a man's flannel nightgown. And then he got one for me. But mine didn't fit right.
Yeah.
But his looks great. He doesn't have a sleeping cap.
No.
You know, like Ma and her kerchiefs and me and my cap. But he does have that nightgown. Can I share a story?
Oh, God, not that one.
No?
What story?
You acted like you knew what story it was going to be.
Oh, I mean, is it a recent one or an old one?
It's an old one.
You mean when the...
No, not that one. So a long, long time ago, way back when we were probably only married 5 or 6 years. Anyways, Papa Jim was having some health issues, and he had to undergo some procedures where he had to be sedated. And so he had his procedures, and I brought him home, and he was still very, very loopy when I brought him home. And they told me, just take him home, put him to bed. He'll sleep it off.
Which one was that? Was that when you got your ring?
No, that's not the time that I coerced you into buying me jewelry. This is the time that was the time we went to the mall and I got a new ring out of the deal. But I took him home.
You don't take pain medication on empty stomach.
Yeah. Took him home, and my flannel nightgown was on the bed. And he just stripped out of his clothes and put my flannel nightgown on and crawled into bed and went to sleep. And I think he was pretty cozy. And that was back when it was a real flannel nightgown, because now they don't make their flannel nightgowns the same. The flannel nightgown you bought yourself is a real flannel nightgown. Mm. But now, like if you go to some of the bigger box stores, they're not. It was frilly. Yeah. It had roses and lace. And he curled up in that and went to bed and slept for hours. Grace did the Target dress challenge last year, and I'm still trying to get him in that darn thing. If I can find one, I'm going to get Jim in it. So if I can get my husband in one, you need to get your husband in one. Bye, Sandy. Are you leaving? There would be a local pilot that would wash his airplane in his Speedo. He was not built for a Speedo. We went on one. We've been on one cruise.
Yeah.
We've been on one cruise. And it was not the best cruise, let me tell you. We had issues with that cruise. One of which being while we were in line to get on the ship. Now, I planned this cruise for Papa Jim's 40th birthday, and it was a Christmas gift to the entire family. So that year, underneath the Christmas tree was everything related to the cruise. So like the kids got decks of cards that said Carnival Cruises. We got the luggage tags, keychains, all these things, so that as they opened them, they're like, what is this? And then the last gifts were the tickets to go on this cruise. And I planned it to go on the week of Papa Jim's 40th birthday. And so the day comes, we're standing in line down in Long Beach to get on the ship. And I chose Carnival Cruise because it's kind of like the party boat, right? That's where the young people are. And we're going to take 2 kids with us. So figured there'd be plenty of fun things to do. And I start looking at everybody in line ahead of us, and it's confusing to me. And I start looking at the people lining up behind us, and there's nobody our age at all. And I'm a little perplexed because these are all gray-haired senior citizens and beyond. I mean, I think I would have been happier if we would have
probably why the tickets were discounted.
Why they were discounted. Would have been better if we would have hit spring break and everybody would have been younger than us, and then I'd have to keep an eye on him. But no, everybody's like 70, 80, 90 years old. And I asked the man that was in line in front of us, it's like, are you guys here with a group or something? Because we started noticing people with matching shirts. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, he says, this is the Western United States Conference for the Shriners. So there were 800 Shriners and their wives that booked this cruise. And the Red Hat Society, which were all of the ladies over 50 in their red hats and purple shirts. Oh my gosh, I'm wearing a purple shirt. I'm halfway there.
And you're over 50.
And I'm over 50 now. Oh my gosh.
Which really wouldn't have been that bad.
It would, but I tell you what, those ladies from the Red Hat Society were grouchy.
Right, but when you've got 2 boys that were teenagers or preteen.
And there's some funny stories there with them being on that ship. But there was nobody our age. And we went down to breakfast one day. And I mean, there was nobody else on that ship our age. Everybody were senior citizens. But we went down to breakfast. You had assigned seating for breakfast in the mornings. And we went down. And we were at this table with just all of these grandmas and grandpas. And I'm not kidding. I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to let him finish it so you know I'm telling you the truth. What was the man next to us complaining about that he was wanting for breakfast and did not have them yet? Do you remember? He wanted to know where his stewed prunes were. He's going to get constipated on that trip if he doesn't have his stewed prunes. And where are his stewed prunes? Remember that?
Sounds familiar now. I probably try to block that out.
They were all just complaining that they needed stewed prunes so they wouldn't get constipated on the cruise. And I was like, I'm done. I don't want to come down here for breakfast anymore. If you ever go on a cruise, just get room service brought to your room. It's so much better anyways.
Unless you have an atmosphere different.
Yeah, unless you have a fun atmosphere. But this was not.
Yeah, they had breakfast bars.
But this is what I was going to tell you, because Tiny Tim brought it up about the man washing his airplane in his Speedo. There was this one man. It's like glitter. You can't get rid of it, right? There's this one man who would parade around on that ship in a yellow Speedo, remember? Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't just parade around on the ship in a yellow Speedo. He would always kind of hang out where you had to go eat. So like if you had the places to eat, and then you could walk out onto the aft of the ship and, sit out in the sunshine and enjoy your grilled cheese sandwich or whatever. He would just he'd lean on the railing of the ship like this with his yellow Speedo and his beer gut. And it's like, oh God, there goes my appetite. And it never failed. It didn't matter where we go. We'd always run into that man with the yellow Speedo.
What about this jacuzzi?
Oh, so 2 funny stories from the jacuzzi, and then we'll think about wrapping things up. Red Hat Society has a funny story in my family too. Happy 40th birthday, Jim. Memories. So
yeah, it was.
The boys are trying to find something to do on the ship. Underneath this staircase, there's a hot tub on the main deck. Empty, right? So Papa, we bought those cards. You can get unlimited refills on sodas and get drinks. And we had some frou-frou drinks and stuff. And so we have our drinks and we climb into the jacuzzi. It's just Jim and I. It's a beautiful day and it's quiet. I think everybody was having their afternoon nap and just the two of us. And it's just kind of nice because I don't have to worry about what the boys are doing. And Jim and I are enjoying our cruise. And then here comes this woman, maybe 100 pounds soaking wet. At least 100 years old. With all that skin, just sagging
It's
skin.
like she was maybe slightly heavy at one time and lost it all.
Just like saggy, wrinkly skin. And I can't talk because I got me some, I got this starting to go on here. She goes, do you mind if I crawl in? We're like, oh my God. She crawls in that jacuzzi and she's sitting opposite from us. And she looked like a stewed chicken sitting on the edge of a pot.
I was waiting for the skin to start coming off and just be bones.
It was horrifying. It really was horrifying because she really just looked like a stewed chicken sitting across from us. Totally ruined the atmosphere. But before she got there, we had a really good laugh before she got there because
you could look up.
You could look up as you're looking around, and to the one side of us, there was a staircase and it had a sign on the door, like a half door.
Mm-hmm.
Topless sunbathing, women only. So that's where everybody would go for their topless sunbathing. And as we're sitting there and we're kind of sheltered from this other staircase that the jacuzzi is kind of tucked behind. So our kids don't know we're in there. And our son, who was 16 at the time, we see him walk over to that staircase and he's
looks around.
He's like this. And he's going up the stairs to the sunbathing deck to see all of the topless sunbathing. He's not thinking. He just sees a sign, topless sunbathing. And he sneaks up and we're watching him. And we're like this, look, watch. And we're just like, our eyes are like this. We're watching this kid go up. He gets up to the very top and he peeks up over the edge. He goes, ah! Yeah. He recoiled and ran back down the stairs.
I'm surprised he didn't fall off the stairs.
Because who's sunbathing up there? All of the old ladies. There are no hotties up there. Oh my gosh.
But then, I thought about it. So
that's great.
So the top, so it's sunbathing for women only, right? On the top of this deck. But do you think about the cruises that do have all the attractive women and who's up on the top helm?
The captain. And the crew.
They're probably with binoculars looking down, and probably all these women thinking that they're.
No wonder they've had some cruise ships go ashore.
Hitting reefs.
Right into the dock as they pull into Ensenada or whatever. Those were good times though. But I was so seasick. Yeah. I got really seasick on that cruise. But I think if we go to Alaska, maybe I wouldn't get seasick.
I mean, even with this, they have huge stabilizers on the boat to try to help that. But
I got seasick in port before we left.
I know, yeah, before we even left the dock. With the break, with the ocean break. Well, anyway. But another thing that was kind of sad too is on the way back, there was one of the Shriners that had a heart attack, and they were trying to rush back to get medical attention. So they double timed it. Yeah. So which was nighttime, which you really couldn't see anything, but you could feel the boat hitting the waves. I was sick. Our son was sick. Yeah.
We got so sick because they were going so fast to try to get back to the port to get this man some medical attention.
I mean, they have a doctor on the ship and stuff, but I think they needed more, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. And so unfortunately he didn't make it. So
did he pass away?
He passed away.
I didn't know that.
That's what I heard when we were leaving.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he passed away.
So
all right, Glenda, thank you so much for showing up.
We got to get going.
We're going to go too. I'm going to have Papa Jim go find. We've got storage. I'm going to go have him help me pick out 2 windows for the new coop. Renovation, not a new coop, renovation. We're going to find the 2 windows. We're going to do some assessments of what we need to get lined up for next weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, so we can do a massive overhaul. And we're going to go out and love on our chickens a little bit. and make sure everybody's okay. So, having said that, I hope everybody has a great day.
Yes,
Thank you so
everybody
much
have a
for
great day.
joining us. I needed this. I had
Yeah.
some laughs. I feel a little bit better. Thank you, Papa Jim, for insisting that we do this today. I almost didn't do it because I was heartbroken, but I think it's
Yeah.
healed me a little bit today. And I think we're going to go spend the day together and do some things here on the farm. So until
I know money spending day before I have to spend money. So.
That's kind of true. I might have him take me out for my $2 lunch. But I will be filming a new tutorial for our next square for our crochet along. So if you haven't joined in on that yet, please make sure you do that. Bye, Tiny Tim. And then we'll see if we can get together next week for our Wednesday coffee chat. I think that's just about it. Got a few things dropping and things going out in the mail. So until we see you guys again next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Will Papa Jim show up in Daisy Dukes? I don't know. Oh, I pushed end broadcast, but it didn't end. End broadcast.